Bear with me 1 second. Phone's on mute, Bubba Kashaw. All right, Shalom Israel, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua B'Katham, Yahweh Shemar Thabashim Yahshua, priest and officer of die holding it down till 12 show General Muhammad gets here. Now, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. This is the time, man, black. You are black, Latino, or First Nation to come back into this truth, to come back to our identity, and come back to our culture. I understand there's a lot going on, you know what I mean, on the earth right now, Russia and Ukraine, a lot of our people, you know what I mean, don't know what to do, you know, don't know if they should, you know what I mean, mourn for the Ukrainians. Or they had a brother, you know, Aliazar, and I believe it was in Michigan, talking about how he was going to go take up arms and go fight against the Russians and fight for the Ukraine. Understand this, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. Our fight is right here. Our fight is in America. Our fight is in the West Indian Islands. Our fight is in Haiti. It's in South America. It's in Mexico. We got to understand that blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women, these other nations don't give a damn about us. We should look at the oncoming World War III as a glorious thing, because it is, because that was prophesied about in the scriptures, and I'm gonna show it to you. Again, make sure y'all type in your questions too, because 12 Show General Muhammad will be here. Type your questions in the chat. And I mean, if you got any questions in the room, I can answer them, or you can wait for General Muhammad. If I could, Ali Azar, can you get me Revelations 11 and verse 14? Because a lot of our people, you know, I'm looking on social media, are terrified right now because you got, you know what I mean, Russia and the Ukraine going at it. You got China getting ready to go at it with Taiwan. You know what I mean? I believe it was India. They saying they accidentally fired a ballistic missile at Pakistan. Like, how do you accidentally fire a missile? Nah, that was preemptive. Understand this, man. Christ said it himself, and we're going to get to that these things must happen. World War III must happen, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. And the ongoing chaos that's going on in the earth, we got to understand, man, even with all that going on, they still hate us, black man, Latino man and woman, because we are the Lord's chosen people. We should look at these things as a glorious time, man. These are time that the priests and prophets prophesied about of old, man, during the time of Moses and Aaron, during the time of Isaiah and Jeremiah. Hell, you know, with the disciples and our King Yahweh Shah Mashiach. We've been bringing this thing out, you know what I mean, since 1969 with Abba Bibbins and the seven heads. And Commander General Yohana been holding this down since then. These times right here, what we prayed to see it. We in those times, man. We ain't got that much longer. Because it said the first woe, you know what I mean, is past. Woe meaning destruction. And that second woe, let's read it. You got it out, Azar? Read.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. Mm-hmm. The second woe is past.
The second woe is past, meaning the second woe was what? World War II, that great destruction. That is what woe is, man. It said the second woe is past. You know how many people died in World War II? Right. You know how many millions and millions of lives was lost, man? The Lord said that the second woe is past. Read on.
And behold, the third woe cometh.
The third woe cometh quickly. And it is coming soon. It's coming, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. And the problem is, man, our people want to have sympathy for the Ukrainians. You want to have sympathy, you know what I mean, for the Russians. I get it. I understand it. But understand this, man. We have a greater battle. You want to give your sympathy, you know what I mean, to these other nations because that's because of Stockholm Syndrome. You got an infatuation and love for our slave master, the oppressor, but you have no sympathy for that fellow black and Latino and First Nation man and woman. Hell with the Ukrainians and them Russians over there, man. You need to be mourning for that Mexican man and woman of the tribe of Issachar that's in them cages right now. You need to be mourning for that Haitian man and woman of the tribe of Levi. You need to be mourning for that brother and sister of the tribe of Asher. They are still burning down the rainforest out there where our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Asher and Naphtali live, man. But you want to cry for the Ukrainians and the Russians. I read one story about how they was giving, you know what I mean, the adult protesters in Russia 8 years and was giving the kids 3 years. I was like, God damn, Putin is not playing. He the real Pooh Shiesty. And they would have us believe, right? The media is trying to paint this picture that Putin is just like Hitler, that he's the greatest threat the earth has ever seen. Let me explain something to y'all. Putin ain't no different than Broadway Joe Biden. Vladimir Putin is no different than Joe Biden. He's no different than Kamala Harris, who y'all think is an Israelite, who y'all think is a black woman, but she's a white woman. Her father's father on her father's side is an oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. They are just as evil as Putin. And our people put their faith and trust in these other nations, in these people, and they don't give a damn about us. Like, how many times do we have to mourn our own? You want to mourn the Ukrainians. When they stopped the war, they stopped the bomb. While the bombs was falling on the Ukraine, when Russia was dropping bombs on them, they kicked a Latina sister off of the train and wouldn't let some black sisters on there, man. Goes to show you, even in the midst of war, real war between the oppressor warring with himself, he understands that his greatest enemy is God's chosen people. And we think we can find peace with them. We think that they are going to somehow one day wake up and love us. That day is never going to happen. You can drop that, Aliyah. Let me get Lamentations, right? 4 and verse 17. Because here's the thing. We put our trust in these people. What do I mean by you putting your trust in them people? I'm not going to let y'all forget. Y'all went out there and told us. You remember they was out there saying Joe was going to do this. Broadway Joe was going to do that. Now look at us. Now look at you, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. What has gotten better? Things have gotten better for the so-called Asians. Things have gotten better, you know what I mean, for those Ukrainians that they said. This is another thing, too. They paused deportation of Ukrainian immigrants from the U.S., meaning if you're a Ukrainian, you're not going to get deported. But if you are so-called Mexican, Panamanian, if you are from Honduras, if you're from Haiti or Trinidad and Tobago, you still get deported. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And we think, oh man, that Joe is just that Sleepy Joe just has our back. Well, let me remind y'all something. Joe Biden, that same devil that y'all love and revere, it's because he apologized, and it was a half-ass apology because he didn't really mean it. Joe Biden has signed every minor and major crime bill since 1972. And the big crime bill in 1994, where he said that blacks and Latinos can't be rehabilitated. He didn't want their children, you know what I mean, going to school with those roaches in those jungles. That's what they really feel about us. And that's why we got to understand, man, we put our faith and trust in the oppressor. We need to put our faith and trust back in our God, back in our King, and understand that there's only one place for righteous leadership, and that's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You turn into the voting polls, you trying to come together, you know what I mean, with the Africans, you trying to come together with the Asians, and these other nations show us what they really feel about us. Now, you can read what you got.
Lamentations chapter 4, verse
17.
Verse 17. Mm-hmm. As for us, our eyes as yet fail for our vain help.
It says, as for us, meaning as for black people, as for Latinos, and as for First Nation men and women, our eyes has failed for our vain help. What is that vain help? You believing that the same oppressor that murders us is going to one day go to war against himself to try to save us. That is asinine thinking. That's you running from the python, right? The boa constrictor. He's getting ready to wrap you up and devour you. So who do you run to? You run to the king cobra. When they in the same family. It's unbelievable. And then I had a sister tell me earlier, well, you know, it's not all oppressors. Y'all want to blame all oppressors. Well, all oppressors benefit from what their forefathers have done. All of them do. And we all suffer from the oppression that we face as blacks and Latinos and First Nation men and women. But still, we still want to put our faith in the oppressor. He says, our eyes has failed for our vain help. Read on. Mm-hmm.
And our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
We watching for a nation that could not save us. Like, a lot of you need to hear this. And I say it all the time. Black man, Latino man, and woman, you are not free, white, and 21. You can't live like this oppressor. You're not on equal grounds with him. We watching for a nation that cannot save us. I was on social media earlier. Some sisters was rapping with these Hamites, with these Africans, saying we need to come together. We need to come together and do this. And the Africans said, hell no. And then when me in the car interjected, the sisters got mad at us. You see the problem? You watching for a different nation, man. That's not going to save us. We are not African. We're not. We're not American neither. How the hell can you be a descendant of Leo Scipios Africanus and Americos Vespucci? Those are two oppressors. But still, we still want to join hand in hand with the oppressor. We still want to join hand in hand with the Africans. And what Africans stood up for us? They don't. Shalom, my glory to Christ. They don't. Africans don't give a damn about us. And the proof is, right, in May of 2016, right, just to touch on it a little bit, Haiti tried to join Africa's Union. You know what Africa told Haiti? That you ain't African enough. Meaning Africans know that the Haitian man and woman are not African. They know because that Haitian man and woman are really of the tribe of Levi, God's chosen people. And our people today are just as silly, just as stupid. You want to wear those ankhs. You want to talk about this and that Akhenaten set and all different type of forms of voodoo and African spirituality, which does nothing for Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. We watch for a nation that could not save us. There ain't no African nation that's going to save us, Black man, Latino man, and woman. Africans care about each other. It wasn't it not a year ago, Sawana, when those Ugandans was in China getting their ass whooped, Salaki for the language. And what did the country, and what did the Ugandan government do? They airlifted all of the Ugandans out of China. When are they going to come and get you out of out of West Philly, out of North Philly, out of Southwest? When are they going to get you out of Harlem? It's not going to happen because they understand, right, that we're not them. Our eyes has yet failed for our vain help. We have watched for a nation that could not save us, man. That's the issue with Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. You're looking for that nation that cannot save us. Salakia, sir. Did you want to take the class? No, you got it. Come on, let's put the water, sir. Read on.
Verse 18. They hunt our steps.
They what?
They hunt our steps.
They hunt our steps. They hunt our steps, man. That's what we got to realize, man. These other nations hunt us down, man. Yeah, I know. I'm just making sure. That's a nice sweatshirt you got on, Zara. Why Salakis? Lord Christ. You know, ain't one of the flyers, Instagram brothers, I know. But good again. Great reading on it. The scripture says they hunt our steps. How do you know that they hunt our steps? Dante Wright, Ahmoud Arbery, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland. I can go on and on and on. They hunt our steps because you got to understand we're not dealing with a man, a normal man. We are dealing with a beast, with a real monster in Esau, the oppressor, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of. They hunt our steps. And which is so heavy about this, right? The scriptures say that Esau, you know what I mean, was a cunning hunter. Esau, the oppressor, out of woman in the Hebrew. He is wasted away at sea. So who's on the cover of every hunting and fishing magazine? Right. Who'll be out there in the swamp, in the lakes, messing with creatures that don't even bother him? That's the oppressor. Right. They hunt our steps. We're at the top of that food chain for the oppressor, man. They hunt our steps to this very day. And we make excuses for them. Saying, but we could have done this, we could have did that. It's not every oppressor. Understand this, man. I don't care how nice, I don't care how nice Bill, Bob, Becky, or Susan is. They are still the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right. Read on.
That we cannot go in our streets.
We can't even go outside. We can't even go outside. Hell, we can't even stay inside, Malaki. That's our brother Botham Shem Jones, Haitian brother, the tribe of Levi, sitting in his crib, listening to music, eating ice cream. What we normally do on a basic, you know what I mean, Monday night. What happens? Devil damn near kicks his door in. Amber Geiger, and murders our brother in cold blood. And you know what our brother's mother and sister and brother does? They hug the devil. The bailiff, you know what I mean, sues her by rubbing, you know what I mean, her hands, you know what I mean, through her hair. And then the judge, who was a sister, by the way, who's our people, gets up and hugs her and say, oh, it's going to be all right, baby. You wouldn't have did that if it was a fellow brother or sister. Right. But you'll do that for our slave master, the oppressor. When they hunt our steps, we can't even go out in our streets without being persecuted. Tamir Rice was, just playing in the park with a toy gun. And the oppressor got out the will, and not even 3 seconds went by and murdered our brother, man. These other nations hate us. And the Lord is trying to tell us this. Read on. Zechariah, give me Zechariah 11 and verse 5.
Oh, God.
Keep going out, Elder.
Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled.
We can drop that. Understand this, man. You got to understand who we are dealing with. So when you think about the Ukrainians, right? When you think about what big bad Pooh Shiesty is over there doing to those people, I want you to remember the devil that we're dealing with right over here. That still hunts our steps. That still kills us in the street. That still has our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Issachar and the tribe of Zebulun locked in cages and still deporting them. But they'll stop deportation for them. Who holds the oppressor accountable? See, that's the real question. Who's going to hold him accountable? They sure ain't. You think the oppressor is sorry for what he's done to blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women? They're not sorry. They revel in that. They love what they do to us. And if I can show you that in the scriptures, read what you got, Zarwai.
Oh God. Book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them.
Whose possessors slay them. Now, we are in possession of the oppressor. Now, a lot of you are proud. A lot of you think because you make a couple dollars an hour, you know what I mean, you moved out that ghetto or that barrio or the reservation, which is really a concentration camp, Zarwai. You think that you better than your brother and sister. We are still in possession of the oppressor. We are still in slavery, physically and mentally. We're not in our land. We're not in Israel. We're not ruling over our oppressors. It says, whose possessors slay them, meaning we are killed unjustly. We are murdered by this oppressor every day. Read on.
Don't come and hold themselves not guilty.
And they hold themselves not guilty. The oppressor holds himself what for the murder of Breonna Taylor?
Not guilty.
Trayvon Martin.
Not guilty.
Tamir Rice.
Not guilty.
Sandra Bland.
Not guilty.
They hold themselves not guilty. The oppressor loves to call my brothers and sisters of the tribe of Issachar wetbacks. But here's the problem and the issue on why every Black and Latino and First Nation man and woman should be offended at that notion. The white man came over here on a boat. They're the ones who are the real wetbacks to escape taxes. They crossed an entire ocean to avoid taxes from England and Britain. And what did they do when they got over here? They raped and murdered our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Gad, who are the First Nation brothers and sisters. Our brothers and sisters who are the Seminole Indians, man, who are the tribe of Reuben. We're all born in the Hebrew. Our Mexican brothers and sisters of the tribe of Issachar. You want to call somebody an illegal alien saying, you got to get out of my country. This ain't even your land. This land don't belong to you. You stole it. And you raped and murdered to get for it. And you same people want to look at us and say we have to feel sorry for what's happening to other oppressors thousands of miles away. Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, you got to stop being simple and stupid. You have to remember what these people have done to us. They hold themselves not guilty for the mass murder and genocide of our First Nation and Issacharite brothers and sisters, man. And here's the thing too, Malakia. They talking about, NATO and the UN talk about bringing up charges against Putin. Who's gonna bring up charges against America? Who's gonna bring up charges against Britain You know what I mean? For what they've done to our West Indian brothers and sisters. Who's going to bring up charges against France for what they did to Haiti, our Haitian brothers and sisters of the tribe of Levi? Go ahead, Malaki.
First, I had a definition of slave.
Go ahead.
It says to kill violently, mercilessly, or in great numbers.
Good night. Read that again.
Slave, to kill violently,
mercilessly, no mercy,
or in great numbers.
And it wasn't just our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Issachar or the tribe of Gad or Reuben. Ask the Taino Indian. Ask our brothers and sisters, of the tribe of Ephraim, of the tribe of Manasseh, who are the Puerto Ricans and Cubans today. Our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Asher, who reside in Colombia to Uruguay and Brazil. Ask them, who are murdered in great numbers, violently and mercilessly, meaning the oppressor has had no mercy for what they have done to God's chosen people. Go ahead, Malaki.
And also, like it's saying, like whose possessors slay us. Like when you are a part of somebody's country, like you kind of belong to them.
We do.
And nobody else gets slaved by their government like blacks and Hispanics.
Exactly. Because the scripture says in Job 9 and verse 24, the earth was given unto the hand of the wicked. Who is the wicked on the earth? Who's the wicked? Who's the one that said, that homosexuality is an alternative way of living?
Right.
Who's the one that promotes whoredom on a mass level, man? Who does that? Who told us that swine was just the other white meat, the oppressor? There has never been, like the scriptures say in Hebrews, I believe 12 and 16, that there's never been a greater fornicator or profane person as Esau. For he has sold his birthright for one morsel of meat. The Lord said that Esau was going to receive no mercy for what they've done to us, man. And that's the thing, Malachi, what you bringing out is heavy. We're still in possession of the oppressor.
Right.
A lot of our people don't think they are. They don't think they are. You think you free white in 21. You think you have the same rights as the oppressor, and you don't. That's why the Lord told us to separate from these people. Aliazar, can you give me Leviticus 20 and verse 26? And Zarwak, can you hold Ezekiel 35 and verse 5? That's the thing, man. Like, separation is great. Like, it ain't just good, it is amazing. Because once you realize, right, that all we have is one another, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, you'll begin to realize, man, why it's important for us to come together, like the scriptures say in Zephaniah 2 and verse 1, to gather together. Because these other nations came together with one consent. And how did they come together? They came together to oppress us, to destroy us, to cut us off, like the scripture says in Psalms 83rd chapter, from being a nation. Damn, like the Arabs are the ones that made the slave ships. But you Negroes want to be Muslim today. You want to be Muslim today. And you want to put a little twist on it, and make it black. That's why you have the Nation of Islam. Farrakhan said the other day on Savior's Day, Zarwai, Farrakhan said, I'm little Jesus. He said that. He said that he was little Jesus. I said, this brother has lost his goddamn mind, man. He's lost his mind by still praying to an Arabic God. And let me tell you something. Allah is the figment of the imagination of the Arabs, by the way, too. And that homosexual that you see on the walls of those Christian churches is Caesar Borgia. That's why it's time for us to come out of the Christian church and to come out of the Muslim mosque, man, because we have this notion that that's where God resides. God is not with the Christian church or the Muslim mosque. Right. The Most High God, Yahweh, is with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Right. He's the one that sent his prophets back in 1969. Most High in Christ. And if I could, let me show you that separation is great. Let me show you why we have to come out of these churches. Read what you got, Aliazar.
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 21.
26, Bubba Pashar, where?
Verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall be holy unto me.
Now, when the Lord says ye shall be holy unto me, I know we all went to church. I know we all was in the Muslim mosque growing up. Holy ain't your silly grandmama, auntie, or mother with that feathered hat on in church. Holy is not your E-man with that dress on. I know they be wearing Zerah. You be seeing them with them little red beards and everything with the dresses on. That's a dress. I don't give a damn what they talking about. That is a grown-ass nigga wearing a dress, Salaki for the language. They're not holy. When you look holy up, holy means to be separate, to be set apart. That is what holy is. The Lord is telling blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women that ye shall be holy, meaning ye shall be set apart unto me. Read on.
For I, the Lord, am holy.
For I, the Lord, am set apart. God is set apart. God does not give a damn about the Ukrainians. God does not give a damn about Russia and Pushaisti. The Lord only cares about us. Who is the Lord speaking to in Leviticus? He's speaking to Moses. And who was Moses speaking to? The children of Israel. Read on.
And has severed you.
And have what?
Severed you.
Now, if I was to sever my arm from my body, right, it's no longer attached. The Lord saw us in the midst of these other nations and said, I'm going to sever you. Meaning, I'm going to separate you from these other nations. Why did the Lord say he was going to sever us from other people? Why? Because these other people and their customs and their ways have been our detriment from the beginning. We just have to see what's going on with the Asian, what's going on with the African, what's going on with the Arabs. Like, when the hells are wide did the oppressor and these heathens become like the standard of morality? They have some deep and sacred knowledge that's going to save blacks and Latinos. When the Lord said, go ahead.
I could have said, like, they have no place to even try and set any kind of standard of morality, given their past and history. You understand? Like, how could they ever speak on somebody's morality knowing the things that their people have done to basically the whole world, the whole planet Earth?
Absolutely. And what why is saying is so heavy. Our people, I'll start with Africans. Our people look to them like, oh man, that's Mother Africa, right on. I gotta go back. I know a lot of y'all during the 60s and 70s was wearing them dashikis, you know what I mean? Y'all wasn't wearing deodorant for 2 weeks. It's all right. Y'all, I understand. But let me ask you this. What is so sacred and special, right, about African customs and spirituality? I'll break it down for you. They mutilate their faces by putting them bones in their ears and their noses. I'm gonna get a little deep on y'all. They believe, right? Africans believe, especially Egyptians. You know what I mean? Montazarim in the Hebrew. The real Egyptians are those Africans in the North and South Sudan. You know what I mean? The Arabs pushed them out. Those heathens thought that if my woman couldn't get pregnant, I can rub crocodile feces in their private areas and that would make them fertile. Am I making this up, Zerai? No. That's why Abraham had to go over there and let them know, yo, what y'all doing is wrong. This ain't how this is supposed to go. A black man had to come and civilize them. That's why the Lord severed us from the Africans. Let's look at the Asians for a second. I know y'all love Li Mei, Li Chung, Ryu, Chun Li, and them, but you got to understand, these people eat anything. Like, it was hood mythology for years that they eat cat and dog and Tom and Jerry, until we saw the videos and was like, well, goddamn, it's a shame what they do. They do that. And then you have the oppressor. There has never been a bigger homosexual, a bigger murderer than the oppressor, but we somehow hold him to the higher standard in his way of life when he's an evil, wicked bastard on the earth. Allah Akbar, Yah, Barak, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Barakatah.
Wafian. Let's make the move. Let's get it cracking. I'll take your questions now in the room and online.
Sir. I wanted to break down, sir, of 1 Corinthians 9 and verse 19 to 22, a general breakdown.
Solid. Go ahead and read it.
Come. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 19. For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all.
What does that mean? Though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all. Break it down. It's telling you what it's talking about in the opposite of what it's talking about. What does the free mean? What's the free, officer? No, in the opposite. Though I be free, I have made myself a servant. So what is free? It's right in front of you. Go ahead.
Being a servant.
Being free is not being a servant. Imagine someone that doesn't need to, have a boss, doesn't need to have someone who tells you to work, who tells you to be here on time, who tells you to work hard, who gives you a quota that you have to make every day. Most of us are slaves and servants. And so because of that, we don't do what we want to do. We do what our master tells you to do. Most of you are obeying a landlord. He's your Lord. He is your master. You will give him his money at the top of the month, or you will live under a bridge in a tent. He's your master. You're not working for yourself. You're working for him. Do you understand? He gives you an order to give him money every month on a certain date, and you're going to do it. So in essence, you go to work for him, because if you don't work for him, he kicks you out of his apartment, his home. Everyone understands that. If you don't, you will. If you don't, you live under a bridge. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you're homeless right now. Everyone understands. I'm fine, warrior. Who else are you working for? Your supervisor at your job. He's your supervisor, or she's your supervisor, and she's telling you what to do. And in many cases, she treats you like garbage, and she's rude and abrasive, and she's impolite every day. But what can you do about it? Because you need the money to give to your landlord. So you work for them. You're a slave. Now read the scripture from the top.
Come, verse 19. For though I be free from all men.
So he's free from all men. There's no one that is in his life that he has to listen to, that he has to be bossed around from, and has to take some evil treatment from some supervisor or some landlord. He's free from all men. Go ahead.
Yet have I made myself servant unto all.
Yet he made himself a servant unto all. And if you want to understand what it is to be in the Israelite school of UPK, if you want to understand Commanding General Yohana's life, you could start here, where he doesn't have to obey anyone. He doesn't have to, no one has to push him to get into work every day. No one has to get on his back about handling his responsibilities. But he makes himself your servant. Do you understand? He serves you. There isn't anyone that he has to serve. He decided to be a public servant. Does everyone understand? All right, go ahead.
Come, that I might gain the more.
That I might what?
Gain the more.
The more what? That I might gain the more, officer. The more people to serve. Correct. And it's a clinic on how to be in charge, man. In this world with politicians and preachers and Greek fraternities and supervisors and landlords, it is extremely difficult to even know how to be in charge. Because if you mimic the fake tough guys you grew up with, then you'll be in charge like them. You'll be an abuser. You'll be abusive. If you mimic the people in your Mason group or your fraternity, you will become an abuser. That's what you'll become. You'll assume that the young boys around your way are there to commit crime for you and to go to jail for you because you did it for someone else. And learning from the leaders of this world just make you more cruel to the people that you are supposed to serve. Right. But serving under Christ is to serve like Christ. And Christ didn't have to obey anyone on earth, but he still made himself a servant who died for us. He still sacrificed himself for the people that he was over, but he made himself under them. Everyone understands. That's what this precept is about. Go ahead.
Come, verse 20. And unto the Jews I became a Jew.
Unto the what?
Unto the Jews I became a Jew.
Unto the Jews I became a Jew. Keep going.
That I might gain the Jews.
Now it's coming around the corner for you. So now this is the Apostle Paul speaking right here. So unto the Jews, who are the Jews? Who are the Jews, officer? The men who lived in Jerusalem, who grew up keeping the law because they weren't thrown away into some strange land because of captivity. It's much like if you're a West Indian, imagine living in Jamaica or in Trinidad, or if you are a Mexican, you're living in Mexico. So now you're observing the culture of most of the Mexicans. That's their culture. Or if you're from Trinidad, you're observing the culture of most of the Trinidadians, right? Or the Jamaicans. But if you leave and you come to America, now you're not celebrating the same high holy days as your people would celebrate. You don't have the same culture as your people would have. Well, 2,000 years ago, there were brothers and sisters that lived in Jerusalem, blacks and so-called Hispanics. And they lived in Jerusalem, and they had the culture of Jerusalem, which was not to eat pork, not to eat shrimp, not to celebrate the high holy days of the other nations, but to serve one God and to be one nation. And we horribly failed at it in our own land. So most of us were kicked out of our land. Those of us that were kicked out of our land, we became called Gentiles or other nations, because now we behaved like the other nations. Now we acted like white people. Now we acted like the Chinese, the Japanese, or the Africans. Everyone understands. So Paul, he's in Jerusalem when he's dealing with someone who knows the law, who grew up in a culture where they kept the law of God. He behaved like them, meaning what did he do? To make it simple for you. He's with a person, who knows the law, knows the commandments of God, grew up keeping those commandments of God to the best of his understanding. What did Paul do? Officer in the back.
So like you say, he follow the law, statutes, and commandments?
Well, so then when he was with a Gentile, did he break the law? No. You cannot break the law and not be punished by God, nor will that help the Gentiles you teach. If you smoke weed with them and smoke cigarettes with them and eat pork with them, you will just lead them the way leaders lead people in church, becoming the chief sinner of a room full of sinners. If he's with the Jews, whose culture it is to keep the law, he shows the Jews that he knows the law better than them, which is what you must do when you're battling a fake Israelite, or someone that claims to understand the Sabbath, or someone that claims to understand the Bible. You better show them that today they met an expert in the Bible, and they haven't met one before. You think you know God in the Bible? You don't. I'll show you. Your culture is to obey the Bible, correct? All right, let me show you that you don't know the Bible at all. You don't understand the Sabbath. You don't understand the commandments at all. Why? Because this person believes that they understand the commandments. It's their culture, no problem. Next, the water. Good. Continue, whoever was reading quickly.
Come. To them that are under the law, as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law.
Them that are under the law, as them that are under the law. These are experts in the law, in how to keep it and how to not be stoned, how to keep the law and not be punished by the law. Well, I show them that I am the real expert in the law. You keep the law because you might be killed if you don't do it, because you live in Jerusalem. So if you don't eat pork, you get killed. So guess what you've done? You eat pork in silence and in quietness, and you sneak and eat pork. Precept. Come on.
They commit abominations.
Under every tree. That's correct. Behind every tree, eating swine's flesh. That's what they do. So in Jerusalem, what did they learn how to do? Jerusalem policed the commandments. They stoned you if you were an adulterer. They stoned you if you ate pork. So our people learned to just do it in secrecy. That's it. So Paul went to them and taught them how to actually keep the law. You keep the law because you're afraid of going to jail. We keep the law because we obey God in full heart.
Right.
And that's what Paul began to show them how to do. It's the same way with those of us in this room and out of this room. You don't steal from people, but it's not because, you think it's a good thing not to steal. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to get arrested. So because of that, most of you, it's so ridiculous. You go to a hospital, right? The hospital won't let you leave let's say a woman has a child. The hospital will not let the woman leave unless she has a what? Who knows? Sis? A car seat. And to where the nurse has to be like, listen, we're not letting you leave without a car seat. And I always thought to myself, my about 10 or 12 times being there, I always thought to myself, you got to force people to do this. So what do people do? Do people go in there and go, give me that kid, man. I'm just going to throw them on the roof and ride out of here. So someone has to force you to get a car seat. So that's how you are under the law, right? You have a car seat. Why? Because they won't let you leave without the car seat. And if not for that rule, you would take that child and throw her in the trunk. So much of you wouldn't buckle your seatbelt if not for a law. You definitely would sell drugs and rob banks and murder at will if you weren't afraid of being under the law, of being arrested. Well, then one day you meet a man who doesn't rob banks, who gets a car seat because he doesn't want his child to die, who buckles the seatbelts of his children because, of course, he doesn't want them flying through the window. And I think car accidents are what, number 3 on deaths in the world? So he buckles, the children's seats and seatbelts and does things because he loves them, not because he's being forced to, not because he's under the law. Paul taught them how to keep the law and taught them how to do it for the right reason. I pray you understand. Next.
Just the one to break down the Titus, the general breakdown of Titus.
I need one last sentence with here. Go ahead.
Oh, come, sir. Verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
Come. To them that are without the law, as without the law.
And to them that are without the law, what does that mean? How is someone without the law? Just give me what that term means, being without the law, brother in the back.
Not the law?
Say again?
Not under the law?
What does it mean to be under the law? Same brother.
Not break the law?
No, okay, this is down south in the Southern America. They might understand this better. The law is a person. I think up in the North, we don't talk like that anymore. But if I say the law is coming, here comes the law. The law was behind me. It was an old way that Judites used to talk in the South. And I think they still talk like that in the South today. The law is a person. The law is not words in a book. You understand? I think now we think the law is words in a book because of the Christian church, but the law is a person. What person? The person. Come on, young brother.
What's today they call him 5 over the cops.
Give him a hand. He's the law. You say, oh, here comes the law. Oh, the law was behind me. Yeah, the law threw me in jail. The law is the person who enforces the words in the book. So not being under the law means what? Come on. Someone else. I just gave it to you. Officer in the back. Not being under the law. Think of everything I just said, or at least a minute of it. What does it mean? Not being under the law means not being what, officer? Say again? It's not being forced upon you by someone. I'll take it, give him a hand. That's what it means. So now, who is not under the law? You are not under the law. Why? Because you could leave this room and go get high, and no one will kick in your door and kill you. You can go and find a brother's wife on Instagrams and have sex with her. And this woman is married to a man, and if her man complains, he will get in trouble. Like if he goes crazy and gets angry, is the one who will get repercussions. No one is going to with a man's woman. And listen, and it's so terrible. Let me explain to you how terrible it is. Blacks and Hispanics have made things legal that are illegal, but we have decided that they're legal. Can I give you one? Child molestation. Child molestation is on the books. It says it's unlawful and you should go to jail. And in jail, they're going to kill you in prison for doing it, right? Because so many brothers in there were raised by people like you. And they're going to get their opportunity to finally stick you like you should be stuck in prison. But we have decided that it's legal in the black community. And so when someone does it, you don't tell anyone. You tell the child to shut his or her mouth and don't bring it up. So in essence, you are not under the law when it comes to child molestation because no one is going to call the police. The police are the law, but no one will call the law if you're molested. So it's legal. I mean, before they legalized weed, it was absolutely legal in the Black and Hispanic community. And you had Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson and Cheech and Chong teaching you how to get high, I think since the 60s, and the hippies and Woodstock and the peace flower movement back in the 60s. Weed, although illegal on the books, has been legal in America since the 50s, if not the 30s. We are not under the law. You can break the law all you want. The police don't enforce even written laws. And especially they don't enforce laws that are not even written down in the American or Mexican or Haitian penal system. They don't even care about it at all. So what do you do when you're with someone like that? When you're with someone who is not under any pressure to keep the commandments of God because no one will arrest him. What do you do with him? Read.
Come. Being not without law to God.
Although they are not under the law, being not without law to God. Now break that down for me. Give that a shot. Now this precept will come up with some Christians because a Christian reads this to think, I can eat pork. And I don't know how they get there, but somehow they will take this and go, see, when you're with someone who eats pork, you have to eat it with them. So then both of you are now not under the law. And so everyone that now you have two people that eat pork. So then the third one that comes, he has to eat it too. And the fourth one, and then what in the hell is the point of doing any of this? If we're going to all just break the law. What does this mean actually? Okay, officer in the back.
This means that you should, without, even though that person not without law,
What does it mean to be without the law?
not being without the law means not have to get arrested by somebody.
That's correct. The law is a person. That's what you need to understand this. And the part to make it clear is right here. Even though they are without the law, not without the law to God. They are without the law, but not without the law to God. That's what you need right there. It's right in front of you. It's saying, even though people will not punish you for doing this, God will. Even though the law does not enforce a punishment for doing this, God does. Read it again, please, Issachar.
Come. Being not without law to God.
Read the sentence above it.
Come. To them that are without the law, as without law, being not without law to God.
It's right there in front of you. It's there. Christians don't see it because their bellies control their eyes. They don't see it, but it's right there. And to them that are without the law, being without the law, but not without the law to God. Even though people accept it, God doesn't. And that's what you do when you're with someone who is not under the law. There's no fear of eating pork or eating shrimp or molesting a child or smoking weed or smoking cigarettes. It's encouraged. Think how many years cigarettes were encouraged. Before now, I think in the 80s, they said, it causes cancer. When doctors would tell women to smoke to calm their nerves. A doctor would say, well, you should start smoking more cigarettes. It'll calm you down. It'll stop your hysteria. It's good for your nerves. That was the old thing. It's good for your nerves. You should smoke. Meanwhile, it's always been unlawful to smoke to God. But doctors just figured it out, I think, in the 70s? They figured it out. Now what's lawful now? Weed. Weed is fine. CBD oil, that is no problem. CBD gummy bears and Laffy Taffies, that is totally fine. And it really is not even weed, really. It's really not even weed because they sell it in the stores. And everything a Chinese person sells you is good. It can't be wrong. It's in the store. It's great flavor. And it's wonderful. Now, how long do you think it will be until they say that CBD causes cancer? It'll be in a second. In 1 second, they'll say all of this CBD garbage is killing your brain, putting lead in your mind, and turning your children into homosexuals. Officer.
They trying to make safe spaces so you can come get your heroin tested before you shoot it up.
Yeah, come on. Heroin is another thing that's now lawful. Before it wasn't, now will be. Listen, laws of men, they'll change and go up and down based on the will of your master here on earth, but not unto God. God's law stays the same. I got to move on from this topic. Everybody gets it, right? Solid. Next, let me get on one online first. Was this one online? Let me get one in the room. You got it.
I was trying to get a breakdown of precepts to prove that time travel is false inside the Bible.
Okay. Is there some argument that time travel is real?
Wow.
Okay, so you just really want to explain how that's what real time travel is. All right, let me think. I would just first look up memory. Have you tried that yet? Look up memory in the Bible. Look up days of old. I would look that up. Let's start with memory in days of old. All right? Let's start there. You look up a few of them and let me know if that gives you what you're looking for, all right? Online?
Sister wanted a general breakdown, sir. Titus chapter 2, verse 3 through 5.
All right, go ahead.
The book of Titus chapter 2 and verse 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers.
So this is a precept teaching women, where Paul, who was put Titus over this school, he was the bishop or the master of this school. That's what the word bishop means in the Bible, master or Adawan. And Paul was instructing him on how to teach the women in the school at this particular scripture. So this is what, read one verse above it, please. Go ahead.
The book of Titus chapter 2. Can I start with verse 1, sir?
Go ahead.
The book of Titus chapter 2 and verse 1. But speak thou the things which becometh sound doctrine.
Two more verses above it.
Titus chapter 1 and verse 15. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled.
Who wants to break that down? That's important. Unto the pure, all things are pure. But unto the what?
But unto them that are defiled.
But unto them that are defiled. The word defiled means dirty or filthy. To the pure, everything is pure. But unto the filthy or dirty, the defiled, go ahead.
And
unbelieving, go ahead.
Is nothing pure.
Is nothing pure. Now, what does that mean? Try to be practical. All right? Try that. There's no magic on it at all. But try to be practical. What does this part mean? Unto the pure, everything is pure. There's another precept for this that Paul said. Paul said, all things are lawful unto me. This is the exact same thing. Christians do not understand this because they go to church. Church is where you go to not understand the Bible. All right? But just be practical about this. Okay? Unto the pure, all things are pure. Paul said, all things are lawful unto me. What does it mean? What does it mean if you're pure, everything is pure to you? Meaning what, officer? Please, right with the sunglasses. Salakia, go ahead.
Everything you righteous or everything you do is righteous.
Give him a hand. That's all I want. Now, hold up. Keep the microphone. What does it mean, everything you do? I'm righteous, so everything I do is righteous. To understand it better, just switch that. No. Switch the sentences around each other. You said, I'm righteous, so everything I do is righteous. To really understand it, say, everything I do is righteous, so I'm righteous. That's what that means. Meaning everything I do is righteous, so I'm righteous. Paul said, all things are lawful unto me. Meaning everything I do is lawful. You get the point? To the pure, Everything is pure, meaning what? Since I am clean, everything I do is clean. If I'm eating, it's lawful. If I'm having sex with a woman, it's lawful. Everything I do is lawful, which makes me lawful. Everything I do is pure, which makes me pure. You are what you do. Do you understand? Okay, read it again. I'm sorry, up front.
So where are we at?
Tell them.
Titus chapter 1 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
Unto the pure all things are pure,
Mm-hmm.
but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving.
But unto them that are defiled, you're filthy and disgusting. Go ahead. Defiled. Come on.
But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving.
And what?
Unbelieving.
Now, it's really laying it out right in front of you. This is talking about actions. You're dirty and unbelieving, meaning what? You don't believe. And because you don't believe, what do? You do whatever you want to do because you don't believe. So you eat whatever you want to eat. You have sex with whatever you want to have sex with. You do whatever you want to do. Why? Because you don't believe in the truth. Keep going.
It's nothing pure.
Nothing to you is pure. Who wants to break it down? Sisters, don't be scared. Nothing you do is pure, meaning what? I just gave you the damn answer. That's what it means. Everything to you is filthy. You eat filthy, you have sex filthy, your friendship is disgusting. If someone talks to you, you are going to say something to them that is destructive to them. Your advice is dirty. You raise your children in a filthy way. Everything about you is disgusting. Everything you do is filthy, so you're a filthy person. Simple enough to understand, right? Continue.
But even their mind and conscience is defiled.
Even what defiles your conscience? Bring me home. What gives you a bad conscience, officer? No. What gives you a bad conscience? Sunglasses.
It's like you in the streets and you doing dirt, you can't sleep and you're paranoid.
So then, what gives you? Say it. Come on.
Give you bad conscience.
What? Say it. Say it in a sentence.
What you do give you bad conscience.
Give him a hand. What you do? What you do gives you a bad conscience, right? Do what you do. If you were in a war and you were terrified and you wanted to run, but instead you ran forward towards the enemy, oh, you would leave that battle feeling like a hero, even though you felt afraid, even though you were scared. Some of you have been afraid to go to camp. You've known that you got to go to camp this week and you're scared to go. And you think you're going to get shot the way your woman tells you or your mother tells you. And you think you're going to die. And you think it's too much and I can't go out there. But then you go. Oh, wait till you get home that night. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait till you get home that night, brother. Your courage will be sound. Even though you thought something that was weak, your action was strong, and it won't bother your conscience. But if you don't go to camp, if you run away from the truth, you will sit in some lonely room high, and there won't be enough drugs to make you feel good about yourself. Everyone understands. Please. Say that again. Give her a hand. That's a fact. Women have many flaws, but you know something that you can trust most women to have? Women are excellent. They're an excellent Geiger counter of you being a bitch. Somehow they know that. Even the ones that want you to be a bitch. They know that you're a punk. Even the ones who force you to be a punk. Moving on. That hurts your conscience. That makes you feel bad. You understand? Go ahead. Next.
They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him.
But in what?
But in works.
But in what?
But in works.
I don't have to go on, do it, right? It's right here in front of you. That's what we're talking about, right? Right. You talk a lot of garbage about God, but your actions say you don't know God at all. This is an excellent precept going into something that I will be going into by the orders of Commandant General Yohana every class in some way or another until the Passover. What date is the Passover on again?
April 15th.
April 15th. Now, April 15th is to give the Most High's Passover a hand. We're going to go to Cocoa Beach, Florida. Cocoa Beach, Florida, April 15th. Commander General Yohana bought out a hotel. I think he bought out 3 hotels by now, to my memory. I don't even know. General Hazayan is in charge of that. The all-black party to reaffirm, a party dedicated to us reaffirming our oath to the Most High God and celebrating it. Also, we'll have the Hebrew Academy graduation that day. Also, we're going to have the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. They got a whole carnival out there with everything you want, with the damn tables and the food and the fireworks and kablagao, everything. And this is an announcement I will make every class until the Passover. Whichever one of you comes to that Passover and does not behave yourself, I'm going to have security kick you out of the hotel, out of the Passover, out of the state. Does everyone understand? The Passover is not about you. If you're a man, the Passover is not about your alcoholism. If I have to spend 2 minutes because you are an effing drunk, I'm kicking you out of Florida. And if you don't leave the state of Florida, it's better that you leave the state. It's better that you go back to wherever you're from and leave, because the Passover cannot be about you and how you are an alcoholic. If you're an alcoholic, then this is not the day to make everyone focus on it. With you and your crying and your rap songs and your reminiscing, this is not the place. The Passover is about Christ. It's about him. For one weekend, life is not about you and being pitiful. For you sisters, the Passover is not about how your man does not spend time with you. That is not what the Passover is about. The Passover is not about your man having another wife. That is not what this is about. There are so many days on the calendar when you can just wrap your entire life in the fact that you are a jealous woman. Your whole life can be about that. You can lose hours from your slavery and quit your job and do poorly on your job because you are jealous constantly. The Passover is not about your jealousy. The Passover is about Christ. Whoever disobeys me on this order, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to make sure that you are an example to anyone afterwards that would put themselves above God's high holy day. Am I making myself clear? Don't test me on this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Every year I go to Commander General Yohana and I plead for more and more power to ruin your life. And I am going to ruin your life if now, instead of at the Passover, now I see some woman sitting in the hallway crying on the floor because her husband kicked her out the room because he's some kind of psychopath. Well, you're in there physically fighting each other at the Passover. And now all I hear is constant gossip going around the room about how they heard you two fighting through the walls. Can you imagine going to the Passover? And you're trying to go to the Passover. And some of us come out the world like we're troopers and young sisters, and we're trying to shed ourselves of the world. And what do you hear next door? 2 ghetto rats fighting in their room while the baby is crying? No. You should go to church. You should go to Easter Sunday with that. But you cannot come to the Passover and make it about you. A lot of people, they can't go to something and it's not about themselves. They have to do something to focus attention on yourself. You go to the Passover and faint and pass out, you're getting the hell out of this school. You're not allowed to go to the Passover and faint. So the whole room, we can all call an ambulance and fan you and make sure they put your feet up and legs up. And now everybody has to worry about you. You should go to Easter Sunday. That's the place for old ladies that catch the vapors. But in here, you're going to be healthy and strong, and you're going to focus on something larger than you. I'm going to diligently make this announcement every week, okay, so that I can judge you without mercy and not feel bad about it. All right? Let's continue.
Come. being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate.
Reprobate. Every good work, you come against it and rebel against it. Everything that's good. You go to the Passover and you try to buy weed at the Passover. At the Passover. You ask, who has the weed at the Passover? If I could dunk your head in water and hold you down until you came close to death, I would indeed do it, but that life is behind me. And I don't do things like that. Although these gas prices are about to send me back to the gun. I can feel that feeling. Like where I'm going back to the gun at this get. But of course I will not, because that type of behavior Commander General Yohana frowns upon. And he also frowns upon it with you. You're not going to be able to come to the Passover and just be a gremlin. You just come there and you're fighting and arguing and getting drunk and falling all over yourself. Not here. Keep going.
Titus chapter 2 verse 1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine.
That's what you're going to do. You're going to speak the things that become sound doctrine. Become sound doctrine means that beautifies sound doctrine. So if something is becoming, meaning it's beautiful, it's glorious. And that's what you're going to say. That's how you're going to talk. You brothers and sisters that cannot get along for 10 minutes living in a house together, oh, you're going to get along at the Passover.
Right.
You're going to get along. You're going to have no marital issues at the Passover. No arguing, no fighting, none of that. It's good practice for you for when you go home. But at the Passover, you don't have any arguments. You don't fight with each other. Some of you brothers out there, you arrogant you think you're an admiral in the goddamn white man's military because you're an officer of 500. And so, of course, you got to go and bully some officer of 50 and bully some trooper. You are getting the hell out of the state. You leave it immediately. I'm going to contact the captain over the Passover, Captain Shamar Walla. You are going to get bounced like in a nightclub. You're getting the hell out of there. Come on.
Would this be a precept?
Yes.
Proverbs 21 and 23.
Mm-hmm.
Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles.
Oh, that's an excellent precept. Give him a hand. Keep going.
Verse 2. That the aged men be sober, grave, temperate.
Sober, grave. What does grave mean? Serious.
Right.
Temperate. What does temperate mean? Disciplined. You're an aged man. You're someone that's been in the truth a while, and people look up to you and honor you because of your rank and position and years in the truth. Oh, you're going to be a serious man, not some bumbling drunk. Not someone that's a goddamn alcoholic. And the minute I ask you, are you an alcoholic? Well, no, I don't drink every day. What in the hell does that mean? You know, I mean, alcoholics tell me that. I say, are you an alcoholic? They say, well, I don't drink every day. It's like they have a definition of alcoholism that's, you're not an alcoholic. The only one that's an alcoholic is someone who drinks every day. No, I just drink an entire fifth of liquor in one day. But Tuesday, you know, I'm off drinking today because I drank all of the liquor yesterday. This is how you know if you're an alcoholic. Who wants the safest explanation to being an alcoholic? Would you like that? Let me give it to you. If anyone calls you an alcoholic, you are one. That's it. Anyone. If there is a person that says you drink too much, you do. You do. This is what will blow your mind. You know, there are people that drink and no one ever accuses them of drinking too much. Right. Ever. They've never heard anyone say you drink too much. You can't decide if you are an alcoholic. Someone else has to do it. So if anyone ever says to you, you drink too much, you do. Simple enough to understand, right? If you drink too much at the Passover, you better hide it. You got to throw up. You better go throw up in your boot in your room, and no one better hear the gagging. No one better know that you threw up. You better not interfere with the happiness of anyone at the Passover because of your personal problems, because we have devoted all year to your personal problems. All year is devoted to getting you off of weed, to stopping your alcoholism, to solving your idiotic, stupid, petty, ghetto marital problems. Not this day. This day is about Christ. Keep going.
Sound in faith.
What does that mean, to be sound in faith? What does the word to be sound mean? Strong. Strong. Your faith is what you believe.
Right.
So now you're going to show that you really believe. You're not just doing it because someone gave you a bed. A lot of you come in the truth because you need somewhere to sleep, or you need friends, or you need some type of support system to help you, because no one will help you because you burned every bridge in your pitiful life.
Right.
A lot of you are like that, and I completely understand. And a lot of you will change and reform and become better people when you appreciate that you have no one but us. A lot of you, that will inspire you to change. But there are others who really are not sincere, but they just need us. Well, it'll show at the Passover. At the Passover, it'll show, because you're going to find a way to need us at the Passover. You'll find a way. I came down here on a plane, but I didn't buy a return ticket. Oops. Oops. Please don't play with me. All right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't come to the Passover and you didn't buy a return ticket, because I will know that you are a liar and you did buy a return ticket, but you're trying to cheat the school out of money in some way. And I'm going to say, no problem. Then get the hell out and start walking. You got a long way to go. But you're not getting a return ticket. You're not getting a bus ticket. You're not getting an Uber ride if you don't prepare. Am I making myself clear? You have a camp leader. You can talk to him and tell him about how you need arrangements to get to and from the Passover. But if you come to the Passover and you did not call your camp leader, then I will know you did it on purpose, so that we could all feel sorry for you at the Passover. Continue.
Come. In charity.
In what?
In charity.
In what?
In charity.
In charity, man. What is charity? Love. Kindness. That's what charity is, man. Thinking about someone other than yourself.
Right.
The key to understanding Christ, and the key to sustaining any career in the Israelite school of UPK under Commanding General Yohana. See me one more time up. Keep going.
Come. In patience.
In what?
In patience.
Yeah, you know what that is. That's just old school good attributes, man. Just plain old boring good attributes to what? Good way to be: patience, kindness, faith. The things that people don't care about in church. They don't care about these things. But these things are bedrock, in believing in God. Continue.
Come, verse 3. The aged women likewise.
Here we go. And just like this, the aged women also, meaning everything we read earlier was about men and the aged men and how they should be grave and serious and temperate. Well, guess what? This applies to women too. Let me tell you something that your Christians won't ever tell you. There is no place on earth that is more liberating to women than the Israelite school of UPK. In the Israelite school of UPK, we liberate women. We free them. You know why? We don't treat women like children. And everywhere else on the planet, a woman is infantilized. She's treated like a baby, like someone who just doesn't know, and she didn't know. Yeah, she had sex with all those men, and it was because, she never had a daddy. And she didn't know any better. And she just did all of these things because she didn't know. And a lot of you brothers are going to go to jail because a woman had sex with you. But after it's over, she's going to go, well, I didn't even understand what he was doing. Really, I didn't even want to do it. I didn't even really want to have sex. Really, he forced me. Well, how did he force you? You see, I was drinking and I didn't even understand it. I've been going through a lot of things right now. And really, I didn't even understand what I was doing. He forced me, and you're going to prison over that. You're going to prison over her regretting having sex with you. You're going to jail because the entire earth looks at her like a little baby who makes decisions, and she just doesn't even understand it. In the UPK, we treat women like they're grown, not like they're kids. And we expect them to carry a burden just like the men. Men have burdens in here, and women have burden as well. The elder men, they have to be grave, sober, disciplined. Likewise, the aged women. In here, women and men are actually equals in responsibility, equals in burdens, equals in how we all have to keep a standard. That doesn't happen anywhere else. Nowhere else. In everything in society, the man is going to be the one that's supposed to pay the bills, supposed to obey his wife, supposed to keep her happy, supposed to do everything. And the woman, she'll just do whatever she wants to because she doesn't know any better. Not in here. She's grown up. She's a grown woman. She's not a child. She's not a kid. The aged women also, go ahead.
That they be in behavior as becoming holiness.
Oh, she got to do it too. She's going to have to be holy. And a lot of you sisters, you're the problem at the Passover. Don't be the problem this year because I'm going to treat you like an equal. You understand, right? At the Passover, I'm going to treat you like an equal. I'm going to do to you what I would do to a man. I'm going to treat you like you are equal at the Passover. Aged women also, that they do what?
That they be in behavior as becoming holiness.
Oh yeah, all of us have to do that. We're equals in that. We're equals in that all of us have to behave. All of us have to behave in holiness, in purity. All of us. Continue.
Not false accusers.
Oh my goodness. I just brought that up, did I not? All right, let me tell you something, if I could briefly. I'll try to speed through it. I got to run. Okay, there is a natural inclination in a good man to defend a woman, right? A good man wants to defend a woman, right? Someone, you hear about someone, slapping your sister. In a good man, there's a thing in you that says, I should go knock his teeth out. Why? Because that's my sister. Someone calls your mother a name. Someone calls your mother a bitch, you want to knock his teeth out. You have a daughter, my God. You hear about some man beating your daughter, you're going to want to go get a gun and shove it in his mouth and blow out his head. Why? Because it is absolutely natural to want to defend a woman. It's masculine, right? To defend her. And because of that, a woman can't lie about being abused. She can't do that. She can't say a lie. She can't go and say, he raped me. And then when you examine her, how did he rape you? You see, because I wasn't thinking correct that night. And when he was telling me all this stuff, and really, if I'd have been thinking, I wouldn't have did it. And he told me he loved me. So he forced me, and you're going to jail. And this was a problem back then. It's right here. A woman can't be a false accuser. You can't lie about being raped. You can't do that if you're a woman, because a good man wants to kill someone over you. He wants to do it. He feels he must. He feels you said you were hurt. Well, I have to kill someone. And a lot of you silly, stupid brothers, you go and fight some woman's brother because your wife went and got him to fight you. When meanwhile, you should understand, because you know that you would want to do the same thing, because it is absolutely natural for a good man to defend a woman. Please.
Growing up, the older brothers that was wise, they had instruction like, watch what type of woman you deal with, because she'll get you into trouble and you ready to go fight, and somebody will kill you, you get locked up, and she's just gonna move on to the next person and the next person. So a lot of times, like even now, sisters be like, oh, we need black men to protect us. And it's like, if we try to protect you and you unrighteous, we gonna fight everybody and be for the wrong reason because you're wrong. But here, we put that responsibility on the sister for her to be right, and then she gonna get the absolute full protection that she needs because she doing the right thing. So
give him a hand. For in Christ, There is neither Jew or Greek, bond or free, woman or man, but all are co-heirs to the kingdom of heaven. In the truth, we are equal in responsibility. We are not equal in authority, but we are absolutely equal in the burden that all of us have to do the right thing. And an aged woman can't lie to her mother about what her husband did, or lie to the court, or lie to the police. You can't do that and claim to be in the truth. Continue.
Not given too much wine.
Here we go. You can't be a drunk either if you're a woman. Men can't be drunks. Women can't be drunks. You can't do it. A lot of you, you're a goddamn alcoholic, and that's why you're fighting with your husband every day, because you're in there on that box of wine, or on that goddamn them raspberries or strawberry Ritas, or all of that liquor that you're drinking constantly all the time. And then for some reason you fight every night, but of course you don't put two and two together. You're an alcoholic. You're an alcoholic. And if you're an alcoholic at the Passover, you better hide it. You better hide it. Continue.
Teachers of good things.
What?
Teachers of good things.
What?
Teachers
of good things. Can a woman teach? Absolutely. But she can't teach a man. But she can teach a woman. In the UPK, we expect elder women, women who have been in the truth a long time. Right? There are sisters that have been in the truth a long time, man. And we expect you to help these younger sisters out. They try to show them the ropes. They try to show them how to behave, how to do the right thing. But if you're an elder sister in the school that's been around a long time, but what do? Teach a woman to hate her husband? Teach a woman to be more jealous? Teach a woman that she really is right to have insecurities, and really she's not that pretty, and she's not doing enough in life, and her career is really not on a level so that she can feel worse about who she is? No, you're not a type of sister that's going to last in here. If you've been around a long time, you have a burden to teach the younger sisters certain things, and we're going to run them down right now. Read that from the top and then keep going.
Titus chapter 2 verse 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women.
Teach who?
Teach the young women.
Teach who?
Teach the young women.
Women are absolutely allowed to teach. Just nothing. You can't teach a man anything at all. You should shut your mouth, because there is no brother in the school that will listen to a woman in any way. That's not One West. But you can teach the young sisters. Not only can you, you should be teaching them. You should be teaching them what?
To be sober.
To be what?
To be sober.
Teach them not to be alcoholics. Teach them to be sober. And sobriety is it's so important when it comes to a woman, because sobriety is about more than alcoholism. Alcoholism destroys your sobriety, because sobriety, Alexa, what is sobriety?
According to Wikipedia, sobriety is the condition of not having any measurable levels or effects from alcohol or drugs. Sobriety is also considered to be the natural state of a human being at birth. A person in a state of sobriety is considered sober. Organizations of the temperance movement.
Stop. Alexa, stop. Alexa, what does it mean to be sober?
As an adjective, sober can have a few meanings. 1, not intoxicated or drunk. 2, habitually temperate, especially in the use of liquor. 3, quiet or sedate in demeanor as persons.
Alexa, stop. Thank you, Alexa. That's perfect. Sobriety doesn't just mean, you don't drink too much, but sobriety means being disciplined. That's sobriety. And so many women, if you're not an alcoholic, you're drunk on emotions. So you're in a state of drunkenness all the time. Why? Because you're just crying and out of control all the time, and you don't know what to do, and you're drunk. Like, even if you're not on alcohol, you're constantly drunk on something. Usually emotions. Usually you're out of control all the time. All the time. Well, if you're a sister that's been around a long time, teach these sisters to control themselves. It's not becoming for a woman to just be out of control and for everyone to say, oh, well, she's a woman. You know how women are. Right. Yeah, she keyed my car and cut up my clothes and, killed my dog, but, she was hurt. You're going to jail. You're going into the prison where you belong. If you key someone's car, you should go to jail. If you cut up all of his clothes and stab him, you should go to jail. You should be in prison if we're equals. If women and men are equals, then you should go to prison for keying his car and stabbing him and scratching him around the face. Why? Because you were just so out of control. You were just so hurt. And you're not sober, sis. You're not sober. An elder sister should teach you sobriety. Teach you to control your goddamn self. Who in the hell cares you're heartbroken? Who in the hell cares? Should we all act on our emotions? Because if that brother acts on his emotions, he's going to knock 2 teeth out of your head. If he acts on his emotions, if he goes, I'm just so mad at her. I'm just so tired of how she acts. I'm so sick of her. He's going to knock 2 teeth out of your head. So he has to be disciplined. He has to get angry, but make sure he doesn't go too far. Well, why shouldn't a woman? She has to get angry, but make sure she doesn't go too far, unless she's a baby. Now, if she's a baby, then babies scream and cry and have tantrums. And if she's a child, then fine. But children have to have parents too. Keep going.
To love their husband.
To do what?
To love their husband.
That's what you teach a sister. That's what you should. Yeah, that's what you should teach them. Teach them to love their husbands. Why? Because some drunk on alcohol or drunk on emotions woman hates her husband. Oh, she hates him so much. She hates him for the most ridiculous reasons in some case. He does not date me anymore. That's another thing I've heard. He doesn't date me anymore. Who knows what I'm talking about here? He doesn't date me anymore. Okay, is it good to keep dating your wife? Absolutely. It's good to take her out to that Ruth Chris. I like that place down there, that Fogo de Chao. Shalom, give it that Fogo de Chao ahead. That's the Brazilian place. You take her down to Fogo de Chao, take her out there. They bring you a little cake or something. Shock her with this one. They bring the cake. The cake just says, a habatha on the cake, a piece of cheesecake, strawberry. They run the cake down there. Oh, it's wonderful and it's beautiful. Now, if your husband does not date you all the time, should you be in a constant state of depression over not being dated every weekend? Should you be totally depressed and cutting your wrist? Your husband has another woman. Oh my God, no one has ever done that before. I have never been with a man that ever has had another woman in my life. Should you cut your wrist? What some of you weak women don't understand is, because you're not sober, there are certain things that you can be upset about, but not suicidal. Right? There's a level of being upset. Right? Yeah. Life is not perfect, and you are going through something less than ideal. But does less than perfect make you kill yourself? So the only way to stop you from taking all of those pills is what? To have a perfect marriage? Damn, that's a rough deal. That's a rough deal. So it's either perfection or suicide. You're drunk. You're drunk, brother.
If I could, with that whole not dating thing, you know what I'm saying? When that sister, a lot of times get advice from the other sister, she gonna end up cheating on her husband.
Oh my God.
Or leaving one or the other. She gonna cheat on him or she gonna leave him.
Hey, listen, no problem. She could leave him, and I'm sure she will find Mr. Right afterwards. She'll find a prince on a horse that will take her to Fogo de Chao every weekend, and he will never get another woman. No, because only the UPK does that, right? Only One West has sex with other women. No, we don't. That's our thing. Brothers in the world, they stay with one woman the rest of their life. They never cheat. Reading on. Next.
To love their children.
You got to do that too. A lot of you are terrible mothers and you don't love your kids. Everyone is afraid to tell you because you're a woman and no one can ever tell you the truth because you hate criticism. You can't take criticism, but you're a terrible mother. If you're fighting and arguing in front of your child, you're a terrible mother. Is that easy enough to understand? If you can't even control your words for the sake of the child, then you're a terrible mother. Done. Is that simple enough to get? You don't take the child to the doctor. You don't get the child any vaccinations. The child has a problem. You don't go check with a specialist or nothing. You know what you say? Ain't nothing wrong with my baby. You're a terrible mother. You're disgusting and you're terrible. And that child will be better raised by a possum than to be with you. Keep going. 1 second, officer.
So, I had a question. So, like, as far as mothers teaching their kids things, what type of effect would a kid have from a mother that's like naked around?
Okay, well, you got the type of mother that goes to the bathroom right in front of the kid, sits on the toilet, walks around in naked breast and naked behind with the kids all the time, has sex in front of the child. Am I blowing your mind? Have you never heard about this before, sis? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's if you answer my phone a little while, when you're done crying, you'll realize this happens all the time. Right, having sex right in front of the kid, telling the kid to watch TV while she's having sex with some man on the couch or in the bed while the kid is watching TV. Right? What that does to the child is this. That teaches the child that there is nothing that is private or shameful. And daughters need to learn shame. But if you're naked all the time around the child, then your child will be naked on Carnival in Trinidad. And your child will be naked walking down Broad Street. And your child will be naked on Instagram. And it won't shame her. She won't feel the feeling of, oh, I don't have anything on. Oh, I should have clothing on. You're teaching your child that there is nothing private. Do you understand? And if your daughter doesn't think anything is private, your daughter is going to show everyone her privates. Am I making it simple enough to understand? Next, officer. But I think that's the point, really, though. I think that's why a lot of you like to be naked around your kids, because you don't have the discipline to teach them how to have discretion, because that would be too much work. All right, I gotta go. Where we at now? Come on.
Can I have some of the precepts from days of old?
For time's sake, you gotta hold on to those. Go ahead and give it to me quick.
Deuteronomy 32 and verse 7 was one of them.
You want to read it, or you good to go?
I can read it.
Go ahead, quickly.
Deuteronomy 32 and 7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy fathers, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee.
We ready to go upstairs, Akim? Who knows? Would you die? You left already, right?
Oh, God.
All right, that's good to go, right? That's memory. Remember the days of old. Ask your father. You're asking him because he was around back then. And that's the real time machine. If I need to say this, I will. Time machines are not real, y'all.
Right.
Everybody knows that, right? That's from the movies. Okay, that's not a real thing. Time machines. Okay, that's science fiction. Right. If you want to know what happened in the past, talk to someone old. Talk to your grandmother. My grandmother told me when I was a little kid. She told me how she never went. She lived in Virginia. And she told me how her friends would go downtown and she would never go downtown because she didn't want to stick her face in that damn barrel. And I remember going, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean, the damn barrel? And she said in downtown Virginia that if you went downtown and if you were black and you had to laugh, like meaning you're with your friends and you tell a joke or something that's funny, You had to stick your face in a barrel because downtown white people were around. And so if you were with your friends and something was funny, when it was funny, you went like this, which is what you'll still see today. This right here with a woman, and you ran over to the barrel to stick your face in the barrel, and it was called the laugh barrel. And I remember hearing about this when I was 7 or 8 years old, going, damn, what? Well, that's a time machine.
Right.
To hear about what happened in the past, that's a real time machine. And that's the only one that will ever be provided to you. All right? Go ahead.
So like also could we use like prophecies when God gives people visions about what's going to happen in the future?
Give me right to the future as opposed to the past time machine. Absolutely. A prophecy of the future is a time machine to see into the future, because a prophet of God tells you the future. Commanding General Yohana told us about the Third World War, told us about Russia. I remember every time he said it. He said this was going to happen. What you're seeing right now on the news, Commanding General Yohana said it was going to happen when there was no sign that Russia and America would ever have conflict with each other.
Right.
No sign. But he always said it. He said it over and over again, and that is also another time machine. Prophecies. Come on out.
There's an old kid video from the brothers before,
Oh, God.
and the white man was literally like saying to him, like, "Yo, what you talking about? Like, Russia not doing nothing. They beat right now." He was like, "Nah, they gonna come back." He told him back then. It's an old video that I see.
Listen, well, that's who taught General Yohana. If it was the 7 brothers that were over him, there were only 7 brothers over him at that time. If it was one of them, then that's who taught him. And he taught it to us. Everyone gets that, right? I think I'm good to go here. Lord allow, I'll be in headquarters hall on this Thursday. With that, pass the class over to the officer.
We are the ISUPK started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are all finished for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves in the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21. Malachi 3:8-10 means tenth in Hebrew. My sharak, 10% of every penny of increase, for any increase the Lord gives you. Give to treasury department, priest fund. Free will offering for free, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like upcoming holy convocations, the Passover. Remind, or I can check the voting with that. You're going to one courtesy salute. Amazon, you need to stand. Amazon Shabbat. Amazon Barak. Sar, which means to turn face east. Sisters. You want to give the sisters one courtesy salute. Sisters stand. You have your feet at 45 degrees, your right hand on your left hand.
Stop.
Your head down, your head looks covered. You're just going to get the sisters one courtesy salute. I'm on Shabbat. I'm Muslim. Barak. That's Smith.